Hi, I just want to share the solution details which I have created for problem statement 2, which is basically create a new calendar event through calendar REST API. Okay, and I have created a script and I have done that in a C Sharp language using Visual Studio. So I will just give a small walkthrough like how I've come up with this solution, what are the components of the solution. Yeah. So, as I told you, I have used a C Sharp and Visual Studio for this solution. And basically, I have, in terms of dependencies, I have added two packages here. One is like Google API Calendar, which is basically a NuGet package used to help to access a Google APIs, and this is provided by Google. And the second NuGet package is LumenWorks framework, which is basically again help me to access the test data which I have stored in CSV file. So these are the two packages which I have used, and the framework I have used is .NET Core framework. Yeah, and yeah, this is the credential file where all the credentials have been stored to authenticate the API request. So for that, basically, I created a new Google account, a fresh Google account, and then I created a Google Cloud Platform project with the API enabled. So this is the project which I have created, and also have created authorization credential for desktop application. Here you can see I created OAuth 2.0 authentications, and then have published the cloud platform project and enable the Google Calendar APIs in Google Cloud. So these all steps I have followed, and then I got the credential file by registering the app, and I have used that credential file basically to authenticate my request. So this is the credential.json file. And also I have basically stored my test data in testdata.csv. So this is my test data, and as it is mentioned in the problem statement, we have to basically insert a 10 different calendar events. So I have created a 10 different set of test data. So this is again in a key value pair. So this is the key and this is the value. So key name is like event 1, 2, 3, and so on. I have given, and in the value, like this is the parameters I have passed is the summary. Here you can see the summary name is the calendar event 1, and then the start time and date, and the end date and time. So all this data I have given here. You can see I have created the events for 15th of July, and the time is also different, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like this different times I have basically I'm creating this calendar event. So the test data is stored in test data CSV file where I'm accessing in runtime. Yeah, and this is the program file where basically I have basically which has all the logic. So I will just give an overview of that, like what I have done. The scope of the solution was just to insert a calendar event, but I have basically added few more steps basically just to make sure every time we run this solution, that should run without any issue. Okay, so I will just explain like what are the additional steps which I have added. Okay, so the first part is like here I'm defining the scope of the application and then application name and then calendar ID which I have to use, and also I'm creating an object to store my test data, and this is the dictionary object. So this is the part where basically I'm just defining various scopes, scope, application name, calendar ID, and test data. Yeah. And this is actually the course starts. So the first thing is like I'm storing my test data into CSV. So whatever test data here you can see I'm storing that in data dictionary so that I can use that in runtime. So this is basically I'm reading that CSV and I'm basically adding that data into data dictionary one by one. So this part will basically take care of handling the test data which is giving in testdata.csv, which is stored in testdata.csv. The next part is again I'm creating the object, credential object of the object to store the credential. Here basically I'm saving my credential to token.json file so that I can access that file and I can do the authentication very easily. So that file here will be stored here in this particular file. So this is the JSON file where all basically authentication related information is stored. So this will store that file in runtime over this particular location. Again, next step is I'm creating the Google Calendar API, creating Google Calendar API service over here. So I'm basically giving the credential and application name over here. Yeah, and the next step is like this is again the precondition. So what I'm doing, like before inserting any calendar events, I'm making sure the existing calendar events has been deleted, just to make sure that we do not have the calendar is blank. So for that, basically, I'm again making API calls and delete and basically getting a list of all the calendar events, and once I have the list, I'm basically deleting that calendar event one by one. So this has two part. I'm basically getting the list of all the events using passing my calendar ID, and one by one I'm deleting all those records so that I'm just clearing the test data. And here comes the problem statement. So in this code, basically I'm inserting the calendar event. I'm basically, so this is the test data. So I'm reading this test data in runtime, and based on the test data, basically I'm inserting the calendar event. So for each test data, I'm basically inserting one calendar event, and in runtime, basically I'm storing that data in the particular format, which is basically a event, and I'm passing that event basically to create a new calendar event. So this will happen, and this will repeat for as many test data which we have given in that test data.csv file. Yeah, and the next step is like verifying the calendar events. So again, the verification also I'm doing through API calls. So like we can verify that from UI as well, but I'm here I'm doing it from API call as well. So basically, I'm creating a request basically with which I can get my request. So basically, I'm passing some parameter like the date time is from now. So means I want to basically list the future events and maximum number of events which I need to print. So all this. So I'm just creating a request, and then I'm basically executing the request here. And once I get the events of and once I basically get list of all events, I'm printing that one by one into console, like what are the events which I have created. Yeah. So in the solution, there are three steps basically. There are four steps basically. One is like storing the test data, and then basically clearing the old calendar events, inserting the new calendar events, and basically verifying the calendar events has been created successfully. So all these steps I'm doing through Google APIs, and also we can verify that manually as well. So this is the solution which I have created for this problem, and you can see it do not have much component as of now. It just has the credential, program, and test data. Yeah, that's it from the coding point of view. In my next video, I will just explain. I will just run the test, and we'll see like how the test runs and how it captures the data in runtime, and will that make it reflects in actual Gmail account as well. Thank you very much.